In 1888, a small Michigan windmill company was struggling to survive. Its products were durable, its engineering was solid, but its profits were thin, and bankruptcy loomed dangerously close. Within 50 years, that same company would become one of the most recognizable names in American recreational shooting. This is not just the story of a BB gun, it's the story of industrial adaptation, of how a heavy manufacturing firm pivoted under pressure, identified unexpected consumer demand, and transformed itself into a national brand. This is how a failing windmill company became Daisy. A business model under pressure. The Plymouth Iron Windmill Company operated in Plymouth, Michigan, manufacturing large cast iron windmills for farms across the Midwest. In the late 19th century, windmills were essential agricultural infrastructure. They pumped water for livestock, irrigation, and rural households. Demand existed, but so did competition. The problem wasn't quality, it was logistics. These windmills were massive, heavy machines. Their cast iron construction made them durable, but their weight made transportation expensive. Shipping costs cut deeply into profit margins. Assembly required labor, installation required coordination. Every unit sold carried high production costs and narrow returns. By the late 1880s, financial instability forced company leadership to search for alternative revenue streams. They needed something lighter, something easier to ship, something scalable. What they didn't know was that their solution would come from a watchmaker. Clarence Hamilton's demonstration. Enter Clarence Hamilton, a watchmaker and inventor with a talent for mechanical refinement. Hamilton had redesigned the traditional air rifle. Earlier air guns often resembled luxury novelty items, fragile, expensive, and inconsistent. Hamilton's model was different. It used a simple spring-piston mechanism. It was built with metal components. It was sturdy, functional, and far more affordable than competing air rifles. During a demonstration for Plymouth Iron Windmill Company executives, Hamilton reportedly fired the rifle into a wire wastebasket in the office. General Manager Lewis Cass Hout watched the pellet strike its target and reportedly exclaimed, "That's a daisy." The phrase stuck. Soon the product carried the name Daisy, not as a metaphor for delicacy, but as a colloquial expression of admiration. At the time, no one in the room likely understood that this demonstration would reshape the company's entire future. The market signal. Initially, the Daisy air rifle was not the company's main focus. It was used as a promotional incentive. Customers who purchased windmills were offered a Daisy air rifle as a bonus, a marketing tool to boost sales of the company's primary product. But something unexpected happened. Farmers and customers began asking if they could purchase the rifle separately. The promotional accessory generated more excitement than the windmill itself. This was a powerful market signal. The lightweight, affordable air rifle had broader appeal. It wasn't limited to agricultural buyers. It attracted hobbyists, young shooters, and recreational customers. The product had scalability. The windmill business was industrial. The air rifle business was consumer-driven, and consumer demand was growing. The 1895 pivot. In January 1895, leadership made a bold decision. The Plymouth Iron Windmill Company officially changed its name to the Daisy Manufacturing Company. Windmill production ceased. Factory operations were redirected entirely toward air rifles and ammunition. This was not a gradual shift. It was a decisive industrial pivot. The company moved from producing heavy agricultural infrastructure to manufacturing consumer recreational goods. It retooled its facilities, adjusted supply chains, and focused on high-volume production. Few companies at the time made such dramatic transitions, but Daisy recognized something crucial. The air rifle had stronger long-term market potential than windmills. The pivot marked the beginning of a new industrial identity. Industrial design influence. Daisy's background in heavy manufacturing influenced its early air rifle design. Unlike competitors that produced fragile or ornamental air guns, Daisy built products with industrial durability. Early models featured heavy-gauge steel barrels, solid hardwood stocks, durable lever-action cocking mechanisms, long-lasting internal springs. These were not toys in the modern sense. They were positioned as tools for marksmanship and recreational shooting. Daisy emphasized reliability. The company's roots in windmill production meant engineers understood mechanical longevity. That experience translated into rugged air rifles capable of withstanding years of use. The product felt solid in the hand, a key factor in building consumer trust. 1938, the Red Ryder model. By 1938, Daisy had already built decades of brand recognition. That year, it introduced what would become its most iconic product, the Red Ryder model 1938. Licensed from the comic strip character created by Fred Harmon, the Red Ryder BB gun combined popular culture with functional design. The rifle featured a blued steel barrel, a solid wood stock, a lever-action cocking mechanism, a decorative saddle ring. It wasn't just a BB gun, it was a cultural artifact. The Red Ryder connected entertainment and recreation. It appealed to young audiences inspired by Western themes and frontier imagery. Over time, it became one of the most widely recognized BB guns in American history, cementing Daisy's place in popular culture. Relocation to Arkansas, 1958 context. Although the early decades defined Daisy's transformation, the company's industrial evolution continued. By the 1950s, rising labor costs, union pressures, and aging facilities in Michigan created operational challenges. In 1958, Daisy relocated manufacturing to Rogers, Arkansas. The move reduced costs, modernized production capabilities, and positioned the company for long-term sustainability. It also marked the symbolic end of Daisy's original Michigan industrial era. The relocation demonstrated once again that the company was willing to adapt structurally to survive. Regulatory and material evolution. The 1960s and 1970s brought new challenges. Expanding consumer safety standards and regulatory oversight reshaped manufacturing across industries. Daisy responded by modifying product specifications. Muzzle velocities were reduced to align with safety expectations. Trigger systems were revised. Gradually, molded plastic stocks replaced traditional hardwood in certain models. These changes reflected broader shifts in materials, science, and mass production economics. While purists preferred classic wood and steel, plastic components reduced cost and weight, making products more accessible to mass markets. Daisy adjusted, as it always had. Cultural shifts. Beginning in the 1980s, recreational habits began to change. The rise of home video game systems altered how young consumers spent leisure time. Outdoor marksmanship was no longer the default pastime. BB guns, once iconic symbols of American youth culture, lost some of their cultural prominence. Daisy continued production, but the cultural dominance of mid-20th century recreational shooting had shifted. Even so, the brand endured. It had survived financial instability, industrial pivots, regulatory change, material innovation, and cultural transformation. Few 19th century companies could claim the same resilience. Daisy Manufacturing's story is ultimately about adaptation under pressure. A company that once built massive cast iron windmills faced collapse because its core product was too heavy, too costly to ship, and too constrained by logistics. An inventor's air rifle, initially a promotional accessory, revealed unexpected market demand. Leadership recognized the signal. They pivoted. From windmills to BB guns, from agricultural infrastructure to recreational consumer goods, from industrial near failure to national brand recognition. Between 1888 and 1938, Daisy transformed itself entirely, not by clinging to its original identity, but by embracing opportunity. The company's evolution reflects more than a century of economic and technological change in the United States. Industrialization, mass production, consumer branding, regulation, cultural shifts. It began with a struggling windmill manufacturer in Michigan. It became a household name in American shooting sports, and it stands as a reminder that sometimes the product that saves a company isn't the one it was built to make. It's the one the market unexpectedly demands.